All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the WaffleBalling podcast. Today we're talking about the second leg of the first round of the Champions League here. There's not a ton to talk about, to be honest, but we just wanted to highlight some of the bigger matchups from this week. So let's just get right into this one with the top geezer of the week. Varun, you could take this one as it's near
Yeah.
and dear to your heart.
Shut up, you soppy wanker!
Our top geezer of the week will be Kylian Mbappe with that beautiful hat trick versus Manchester City. This will be the game that we'll probably focus on throughout this video, because it was probably one of the best UCL matchups for this week, or one of the most important. But yeah, Mbappe scored a hat trick against Manchester City yesterday. And I think, what is that? He scored 4 goals against Manchester City over the past 2 legs. And I think that puts him to 7 goals against Manchester City in his entire career. So, wow, what a performance from Mbappe. We'll be going on more in depth about that later on. But, Fletcher, do you want to talk about the wanker of the week?
Yeah, it's got to have to be the Atalanta manager after their Champions League loss, saying that Lookman is one of the worst penalty takers he's ever seen. I mean, look, it might be true, like low key, but you just can't say that as a manager
Yeah.
about your own player. Like, what is Lookman gonna think about that?
Yeah, we all know Lookman. Lookman is actually leaving Atalanta. I think it's basically confirmed at the end of this season. So next summer he'll be at another club. But for Gasperini to say this about Lookman, arguably his best player, this is the same guy who got you a hat trick last year in the Europa League final. I think that's one of Atalanta's only trophies also in Europe. I think that's their only trophy in Europe, actually. But yeah, saying this about like your star man is not very manager like of you, you know.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah,
it was just really weird.
yeah.
It really unnecessary.
We're gonna be talking about the Atalanta game later on in the match recaps, but I think it's time for the match recaps here. You ready, Fletcher?
Let's go!
Yeah, let's just get into it. Starting off with the Real Madrid versus Man City. Real Madrid came out on top. They won this the second leg here 3-1, won 6-3 on aggregate. Like we said, Mbappe had a hat trick, probably the best game he's played with Madrid so far.
Yeah.
So just talking about Mbappe, I think him really coming into form has really highlighted how good this Madrid attack is. And I think we're seeing Madrid finally hit their full potential after they struggled early on in the year. What do you make? What do you make of this performance?
Okay. Let's start with that first. Let's go goal by goal here. Start off with that first Mbappe goal. It was a Raul Asensio ball from the back line over to the other side of the pitch over Ruben Diaz and John Stones. Yeah, John Stones. First of all, what a ball from Raul Asensio. I know I've been kind of stressing this the last couple of weeks. Raul Asensio is the future of this team. What a player, man. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But, yeah, what a ball from Raul Asensio. And then Mbappe with a crystal clear, what a finish, you know, over Ederson's head. And on that play, John Stones got injured, I think, from that. But let's go to the second goal. The second goal, Mbappe's probably best goal from this game, in my opinion. It was either that or the third goal. That goal was Rodrigo to Jude Bellingham, to Vinny, to Rodrigo, to Mbappe. Yeah, that kind of just goes to show the entire front four is kind of clicking. And then on that goal, Mbappe basically cooks Guardiola. He kind of just sends Guardiola flying, which was my favorite goal probably of this game. And then the third goal, he just kind of scores from top of the box, bottom corner. What a finish. What did you think about this Mbappe performance, man? Like, I honestly don't have any complaints.
Yeah, I mean, this was by far the best game he's played with Madrid, and it came at a perfect time. Although I think they already had this one secured. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really worried about Madrid losing this game,
Yeah.
but it's a good performance that hopefully he can build off of going forward.
Hmm.
He's been really good as of recent,
Yeah.
starting to look like the Mbappe that we used to know on PSG. So I don't know. I don't really have too much to say because this game went almost exactly how I expected it. Maybe I didn't expect an Mbappe hat trick, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
expected Madrid to win this game pretty easily, and that's exactly what happened here. I don't really have anything new to say about either of these squads.
Yeah. An interesting thing about Mbappe here is if you look at his August to December goals, he had 14 goals from August to December with Real Madrid. Um, and just from January to February alone in 2025, he's equaled that tally of 14 goals. So it just kind of goes to show after that horrible loss. I think it was at the start of the new year to Barcelona, that 5-2 loss. Mbappe has just been cooking. Like this guy's just been a goal scoring machine in the past few months. And I really do think that come May he'll probably be up there as one of the highest or one of the top goal scorers in the world. But I think that kind of let's also go on and talk about the entire Real Madrid attack in general. They did play Manchester City, who aren't that great, to be honest, at defending with all their injuries and stuff. Vinny had a good game. Rodrigo, I think, had probably the second best game out of everyone on that team. Jude had a good game. Other than that yellow card, which will make him suspended for whatever the first leg of whoever we play next round, either Atletico or Leverkusen. But I don't know. What did you think of Fede Valverde here? He was playing in right back. I think he probably had one of the better performances out of everyone on the pitch. Lucas Vasquez, as we know, was injured. What did you think about the Real Madrid captain here?
Yeah, I mean Valverde, he's played that position a few times before, and he's always done well at right back. And he did another great job today, or not today, but in this match. Um, I do think that with Rudiger and Alaba back, this is really going to shore up that back line a lot
For
and
sure.
really, you know, secure what is probably like the only big weakness for Madrid right now. And I really do think going forward, if this team can stay healthy, with the way Mbappe and Vinny and Bellingham have been playing recently, that I really do think this team is going to be one of the favorites going forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like Fede Valverde, he kind of just plays everywhere. You know, we've seen him play. I think this year alone, he's played right wing, right mid, center mid, right back. I think CDM. He's played basically
Mm-hmm.
everywhere on that Real Madrid squad. And he did have probably one of his best performances in general at the right back position this year against that Manchester City side. He did have that one assist to Mbappe at the end of the game. But I really do think that he is a future legend for this team. Honestly, I think he'll be that future number 8. What Toni Kroos was. He will be probably going down in history, in Real Madrid club history, as one of the best players who's played for the club.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
Yeah, I
Oh yeah,
could.
go on.
No, I completely agree, and I think his biggest strength is that he's super versatile,
Yeah,
especially on that right side of the field or of the pitch. I mean, he could really fill in any sort of gap that is needed for Madrid,
yeah,
and with the injuries that they've had, and I think Madrid doesn't have like a ton of depth, but having a guy like Valverde who can play pretty much anywhere is really going to help them going forward.
yeah. Let's go on about Manchester City here. Another disappointing performance of Manchester City. I mean, as we know, Haaland didn't play because he was injured from that Newcastle game. I don't know. What did you?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Some could say that he was a little scared of Rudiger coming back, but what did you think about this Manchester City performance here?
I mean, same old that we've seen all season. I thought that first leg they actually played pretty well,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I kind of had some optimism for them going forward. But they just reverted back to the same awful form that they've been in all season.
yeah.
I mean, their back line and their midfield is just completely outmatched. It seems like when you're getting dominated in both of those areas.
Um, John Stones also picked up an injury in this game, so that's another injury just to add to the list to that Manchester City back line.
Mm.
In my opinion, Manchester City was just terrible. They just could not get a foothold in this game. Real Madrid basically started off the game going hard, controlling that midfield, getting attacks in. Um, it was kind of a nightmare for Kusanov and Ruben Diaz and Guardiola just on that back line. They just kept on getting cooked because just the constant pressure that Real Madrid are putting up. Um, is this the end for Manchester City here this year? Is it safe to say that no trophies are coming their way this year?
No, I don't think so. I think they're still in the FA Cup, and that's it. I mean, who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe they could win that. We've seen, Man U win it last year when they were awful. I would say Man U is worse than City is this year. So you
Yeah.
never know, but I mean, this has just been a disaster season for Manchester City. Um, they're probably not going to finish top four. They're probably not going to win any trophies. They even make it to the round of 16 in the Champions League. Just horrific. And they
Yeah.
don't really have, they have some good young players to build off of. Marmoush has been really good since he's joined City. That's probably the big highlight of the season. But I don't really see this team as like one of the better, or like a team that I don't see them being good in a few years because I don't see like a foundation that they have. They have a few like good young players,
Yeah.
but they don't really have like a system. And especially with the uncertainty of Pep, who I think is probably going to be gone pretty soon. I don't know. I think the future is very dark or very bleak for Manchester City.
I also think that they're gonna. It's no secret that they're gonna lose KDB sometime soon. Either he
Yeah.
retires or he goes to MLS. I still do think that KDB is one of their best players in general, just because of like his
Mm.
passing, his technical skills and everything. I don't know how much longer Rodri's also gonna stay there. Of course, the last year's Ballon d'Or winner, um, who it was also pivotal to that team. So losing Pep, KDB, of course, and then probably Ederson too, because I
Yeah.
could not really see him being there for much longer. The future of this team, I think, is I don't really know. To be honest, I don't really know. Like the future stars here, Marmoush, I think will be fine. Kusanov, I
Yeah.
think could be fine, but other than that, like
Big,
Foden, I don't know. Foden kind of lost his touch here.
yeah.
Holland's still
Jeremy
Holland.
Doku.
Yeah,
I mean,
Jeremy
do they
Doku.
have Jeremy Doku, who's going to be really good? I mean,
Yeah,
Holland's going to be there for the long term, it seems like. So,
I don't
um,
know. It completely depends on who their manager is in the future. That's
mhm.
that's what it'll get down to.
And they're going to have to spend a lot of money in the transfer market to rebuild this team. And with everything that's going on with their lawsuits and financial fair play, I don't know
Yeah,
exactly if I trust that or think that's going to be sustainable going forward. But
yeah.
we'll have to wait and see when it comes to Man City. But what we do know is that this season has just been a complete disaster,
Disaster class of the
and
season.
probably the worst Man City season in over a decade. Not probably, definitely the worst season in over a decade. So
Yeah, they do
let's
play your Liverpool this weekend, don't they?
they do. Which
Mm.
Liverpool do need to win that game at the Etihad, I believe.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
should be a good win, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
And then
All
yeah,
right,
Real Madrid go on to play Leverkusen or Atletico Madrid next round, of course, just to keep on
yeah.
see their future games. But yeah, let's move on.
Which either one of those, that's gonna be a
Oh,
tough draw.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's move on. Fletcher, do you want to take over the next game?
Yeah, we had probably the biggest shock, I think, of the Champions League so far, at least in terms of, I mean, there were bigger upsets, but this is just a 7-0 win by PSG over Brest. They won 10-0 on aggregate. I mean, this just was embarrassing. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, Brest kind of started off as the Cinderella team of
Yeah.
the UCL. They had a really good start. I believe they were in second at one point. And to have their Cinderella season end like this is
No.
just disrespectful, to be honest. Like, against a PSG team that is good, and has been hitting their strides, but um, I don't know. It's not really a a
Uh,
good building block going forward. Like, this is a demoralizing loss for
yeah,
Brest.
this also comes after, of course, those two UCL games, and then of course they played them in Liga One the week,
Yeah.
like the same week before that first leg of a PSG game. So they conceded a combined 15 goals over the past 3 weeks to PSG.
Yeah.
That is just purely demoralizing, honestly, to that team.
Mhm.
After such a what a great start. They were in top 8 until what, like the last week of
Yeah.
UCL, I think, and then they lost to
Yeah.
Madrid, and then that kind of knocked them down. But yeah, what a demoralizing loss here, man. Um, and PSG had 7 different goal scorers in this game, dude. It's
Mhm.
not even like
Mhm.
Dembele had like 5 goals here. It was 7 different dudes had goals here.
Mhm.
Which is like something that I would probably be doing on like my FIFA career mode, like manager mode here.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, let's talk about PSG here. Um, I think they look dangerous. They of course do play Barcelona or Liverpool next round. It depends on the draw, but
Mhm.
I think they'll be a tough opponent to either of those teams. Um, yeah, what did you think?
No, I think so as well, and they've been in really good form. They've been good in Ligue 1, all year, which
Yeah.
was to be expected. But they had struggled very early on in the UCL, but they had hit their strides at the very end. Were able to secure a spot in the knockout, and then doing this against the Brest team that, yeah, they were projected to beat pretty easily, but 10-0 is just insane. I
Diabolical,
mean,
yeah.
that's very rare to ever see that. And I think this PSG team, they don't really have like the star presence that they used to have in the past, but they have a lot of depth.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
For sure.
and they have a lot of guys that can score and a lot of guys that can make some plays. There's not, I don't think they can beat Barca or Liverpool individually, but if they're able to have a better like team performance against a team like Liverpool, who has been struggling honestly recently, and has lost a lot of or
Yeah.
dropped a lot of points that they shouldn't have. You never know, and I don't know. I still would take Liverpool or Barcelona over PSG for sure
Yeah.
going forward, but PSG is definitely a team that neither of those guys want to face.
I really do think that that PSG attack. Well, they have what, Dembele, Cavara, um, what's his name? Joao Neves kind of plays a little bit here and there up,
Hmm.
and then Gonzalo Ramos.
Hmm.
But that PSG attack, I think, is very fast. They're very technical. Their bench attack. Well, I mean, Barcola starts too, but that PSG attack, I think, will cause Barcelona a lot of problems, especially with the defensive issues that Barcelona has had. I think that PSG
Hmm.
attack will actually prove to be very hard to take out for Barcelona. If they do
No,
draw them,
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. No, I agree.
But yeah, that's PSG. We do think they are looking dangerous. But let's move on to a disappointment. Milan 1-1 with Feyenoord. On aggregate, Feyenoord goes through due to that 1-0 win last week. This game, what did you think of this game? Just no.
Yeah, I am surprised here. I definitely thought AC Milan would win, but they haven't been great all year. I don't think they're as talented as previous AC Milan teams that we've seen. And Feyenoord has been good. They've beaten good teams um, throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is kind of a shocking performance, especially considering that Santiago Jimenez, who was Feyenoord's best player, who left to join AC Milan, and then he loses to his former team. I mean, that's
Brutal.
kind of crazy. It's crazy.
But yeah, I do really just think that Milan kind of just lost this game because of what their tactical choices were. Santiago Jimenez was really good for them. He did end up scoring against his former club.
Mm.
But for some reason, Milan subbed off Pulisic and Santiago Jimenez in this game, but they kept in Rafael Leao, who was not having the best game in this game, and they kept in Joao Felix, but who wasn't also either not really doing anything, to be honest. But I don't understand. What I don't understand is why do you take out two of your best players in a game that you clearly need a goal? So I personally do think that this was a manager disaster class.
I think so too. Yeah.
And then to add more salt in that wound, Teo Hernandez got a red card for simulation. He was fucking diving or some shit. But yeah, I do really just think that AC Milan lost this game just because of their tactical disaster class. This was just not a good game from them.
Yeah, I think the decision to sub off Jimenez and Pulisic is baffling.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was weird at the time, and in hindsight, considering they weren't able to score after they got subbed off, it's just a bad decision. But at the end of the day, I really don't think AC Milan team. Maybe they could have squeezed by if they would have kept him in, but
Yeah.
they didn't deserve. They didn't deserve to make it to the next round with the way they've been playing. Because they've had their chances. They've had even in this game, like Feyenoord didn't play all too great. I didn't think it's just AC Milan couldn't score. I mean, they couldn't create any like good chances. Which I mean, with a team with all that attacking premise and star power that they have in their attack, that's kind of unacceptable.
I do really think this team is like on paper. This team is good. Like this team should be good on paper. You have Pulisic, Santiago Jimenez at the number 9, Rafael Leao, Joao Felix on the bench. That midfield is really good with Yunus Musa. The back line, Kyle Walker and Teo Hernandez. Two of the what you think should be really good fullbacks. But the tactics are just not there. I don't really think they can really do much with this team.
I mean, they're on their second manager this year. And I don't think I don't know. I could definitely see a change in manager at the end of this year as well with the way that things have been going. So,
let's move on to the Bayern Celtic game. Another game which I thought, in my opinion, was a personal disappointment because Bayern did not play their best game. They were at home, and they relied on Alphonso Davies, who came off the bench, to score the game winner in the 94th minute. Or the equalizer, basically, but it won Bayern the game. It's kind of what we've been preaching about Bayern for the last couple of weeks here, that they just have not been. They're not the team that we expect them to be. I don't know what you have to say about this team here, but I did not like it.
No, I think our concerns about Bayern have been proven right here. Struggling against a Celtic team that, no disrespect to Celtic, they played really well, but this should never have been close with the talent that Bayern Munich have. And I just don't think this Bayern Munich team is going to be able to do anything against other top teams, because the way that the type of performances we've seen from them, even against Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga, I believe that was a week ago, maybe. A game they were lucky to get a draw in because they got out. They just got flat out dominated and outplayed, I felt like, in that game. And this was the same thing against a Celtic team that the talent disparity is just massive in this game. And for it to be this close, where you need a 94th minute winner, again, just not an acceptable performance for Bayern Munich.
Yeah, another highlight of the game was that Harry Kane got injured early in like the first 30 minutes, I think, and then they subbed on Coman. So they were absent with their leading goal scorer, but I still think that this Bayern team should have the star power to kind of dominate. Of course, they're at home too. Getting a 1-1 draw at home, relying on the Alphonso Davies equalizer in the 94th, which also, I mean, okay, let's talk about the goalkeeping here from Celtic. Kasper Schmeichel had probably one of the best goalkeeping performances of the week, if not the best goalkeeping performance of the week. He was solid. He was a brick wall in net until that it was kind of like a tap in for Alphonso Davies that he kind of just missed the ball and he couldn't get a hold of it, and then Davies kind of just tapped it in for the goal. But this Celtic team fought hard. This Celtic team, they went up against all odds against this Bayern team, and they fought hard. They played really well. I really did like what I saw from Celtic. But horrible loss from Celtic here, kind of tragic loss. But Bayern are just not the contenders that they should be.
No.
But yeah, that's basically all we have to say about Bayern here. Not really much to talk about. Go to one of the more entertaining games this week, the Benfica Monaco game, which ended 3-3, and Benfica won on aggregate 4-3. Do you want to kind of just talk about this?
I think this was a very evenly matched, probably the most evenly matched game out of all of these in terms of talent.
Yeah.
This really could have gone either way. I think we had Benfica winning this, which is what happened. But I mean, as you can see in the second leg, it ended 3-3, back and forth. Either team easily could have won this game. I don't really have too much to say. I believe Benfica will play either Liverpool or Barca, so they're going to have their work cut out for them in the next round. But I really enjoyed this game. I think it was probably my favorite game of the week, just in terms of the spectacle here. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I really don't. For the neutral, this game would probably be one of the most entertaining games, of course. Just because of the score, I think it started off like 1-0, then it went 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, and then 3-3, 3-3. So it was just a goal. It was a shootout. But other than that, it was probably the most entertaining game out of all the UCL games, probably. But I don't know. Do you want to talk about the next game?
Yeah, probably the biggest upset here so far. Club Brugge out Atalanta. They won the second leg 3-1. Won on aggregate 5-2. And this is what we were talking about with the Waker of the week. Amadola Lookman, he had a penalty and he just fucked it. I mean, it was not a great penalty, but again, I don't think his performance, he didn't play well.
He also did have a goal in that game too, though. That's the thing.
He did, but they got like this wasn't even close against Club Brugge, which was probably the most favorable matchup out of all of these teams.
Yeah.
I just would never have expected this. I really thought Atalanta was one of the more impressive teams during league play. I had them as one of the dark horses to go far in the Champions League, and that just aged terribly.
Atalanta, I mean, okay, Lookman has been injured for a while, so he did sub on in this game. But after they subbed him on, he looked to be like the life of this team, basically. He did get that goal back. Well, I mean, they were down 3-0, of course. Yeah, 3-0. He got the goal back, but I still don't. I feel like let's talk about the manager here. I still don't think you should be talking about your leading goal scorer or like your best player like that. Lookman is confirmed to be leaving this summer. He will be leaving Atalanta. Hopefully he just goes to another club, a better club. But yeah, this is a horrible loss from Atalanta here to a Club Brugge side that they should have beat. But let's move on to the Dortmund 0-0 Sporting Lisbon. A game that ended in a draw, of course, but Dortmund won 3-0 in aggregate last game, so there's not really too much to talk about, but they're through.
Yeah.
And then, do you want to talk about the last game?
Yeah, PSV, another big upset. PSV beating Juventus 3-1, won 4-3 on aggregate. Again, pretty surprising because I actually thought Juventus were kind of a sleeper team with how they played at the end of the league phase.
Yeah.
Tim Weah scored a banger of a goal. It's the only goal for Juventus in this game. Other than that, though, pretty much the entire Juventus team played pretty terribly. Again, PSV is a solid team. Juventus has to win this game. Like when you're a team of Juventus's caliber, and you're from Serie A, you're supposed to be one of the big clubs there, and you lose to a PSV team, don't even make it to the round of 16 in the Champions League. I mean, Juventus really needs to get their stuff together because they're quickly falling from one of the biggest clubs in the world a few years ago
Yeah.
to now kind of fading into irrelevance, I feel like.
I also really, um, what would it have been? Yeah, Juventus won the last game in the leg, 2-1.
Hmm.
But to kind of just choke this is kind of crazy.
Hmm.
Weston McKennie's having a good game. Tim Webb is having or they're both having really good seasons with Juventus, but I don't think the rest of the team is doing that well.
No.
But yeah, this is kind of just a horrible loss from Juventus. They kind of just bottled it. But that's basically all we had to talk about in the UCL here. So, what do you think? Prediction time?
Yeah, let's get into some predictions. I don't think either of us hit on our
Yeah,
predictions
let's
from
quickly go
the
over.
UCL.
Yeah, let's quickly go over our UCL predictions. We had two predictions last week because it was that weird. We were kind of split in between the legs and then the Premier League, so we just ended up doing both. I had Atalanta to go through, which we all know how that went through. PSG to go through and Benfica to go through. So I basically hit 2 out of 3. And then Fletcher, you had Bayern, Real Madrid, and then AC Milan. So we both
So
got
very
fucked
close.
by one team. Both Italian
Yep.
teams fucked us over. And
Yep.
then we also had the Premier League last weekend, which neither of us hit. I don't remember what I think I bet on a draw for that Tottenham Man United game here. And that basically fucked me. I know that's what fucked me over. I definitely should not have bet on that, but yeah.
I had Aston Villa beating Ipswich Town, which did not happen. That game ended in a draw, even though Ipswich Town went down to 10 men.
Yeah.
Which was very, very good performance from them, but
maybe
cost me my parlay.
maybe we should be a little bit more smarter here about our parlays here. Maybe.
I tried to pick to pick only like the big favorites, and some of it didn't work.
Yeah, we kind of just got cooked. But yeah, it's basically
the upcoming Prem match week here for our predictions.
Yeah, we're both.
So
yeah, I'm still at 4 points here. It's like
I'm
the
at-
same as like the past like 3 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah, Fletcher's at 0, but
yeah.
I easily change after this week. So, do you want to start off with the
I believe
predictions? It's your
I
first.
believe I have the first pick here. And there's some interesting matchups. Man U, Everton, probably not going to pick that. Tottenham, Ipswich Town.
Ooh,
Might have to take Ipswich Town here to win. I'm not going to lie.
that's not a bad one. That's not a bad one.
There's not really a ton of like big favorites, I feel like. There's a lot of evenly matched games.
Yeah.
I think, though, I'm going to take. I'm debating between Liverpool over Man City or Brighton over Southampton.
I feel
Those are
like
the two that are calling out to
those
me.
two are the games that I feel like would be locks.
I think I'm more confident, though, with Brighton over Southampton right now.
Okay.
So I'll take Brighton to beat Southampton.
You know, I'm gonna take Liverpool to beat Man City. One of the obvious games here for us. And then also I'm gonna take. Let's see. I really do like Bournemouth versus the Wolves. I really do like that.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, I think, is a solid team. They're top 6 right now. Actually, they're top 4. They're top 4 right now. I really do like Bournemouth, so I think I'll take them over Wolverhampton.
Wow. I don't know if I would have gone with that. I'm not gonna lie.
You're going big.
But I guess there really isn't that many. There's not that many good matchups to pick from. I feel like everything's pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, like
I guess the next best one see here would be Arsenal, I think, over West Ham. So I'll take that. And then there's not really a ton. I'm thinking maybe Brentford over Leicester.
yeah,
Maybe Fulham. No, not really. Fulham over Palace, probably not. Villa Chelsea, that could go either way. Newcastle Nottingham, that could go either way.
These are good games. These are very good games.
I feel like I do need to take one though, just because I am losing by
Yeah.
a lot. I think I'm gonna go. I think I'll go Brentford over Leicester.
That's what I would have picked. I was just about to say,
Yeah,
if it was my pick, I would have picked that.
I think that's the best. I don't feel great about that, but I think that's probably the best.
Yeah. I personally think that I'll stick with my 2 leg here. I don't like any of these games enough to actually bet on them.
Hmm.
So I'll just stick with the parlay, the 2 leg parlay. Liverpool to beat Manchester City, and Bournemouth to beat Wolverhampton.
Okay, and then I'm going with Brighton to beat Southampton, Arsenal to beat West Ham, and then Brentford to beat Leicester.
Yeah. We'll see how these go after this Premier League match day. But yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Our next video will also be a something different. We're gonna do a club that is near and dear to our hearts. We're gonna be starting another series on this channel, which we'll be going over St. Louis City SC, the MLS club. But yeah, we'll see you guys in that video. So
Hmm.
thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.